technical issues.
Hi, everyone. This
when
is
you're
Mitch.
on the road.
Mitch here for SportsChatPlace.com and PicksandParlays.net. Sunday, March 24th, 2019. It's the final day of the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. What a tournament it's been. I have with me Brian Bittler off of a 4-1 day yesterday. And I'll tell you, the one that got away is the one that got away from me as well. That was Wofford. Man, why don't you just go for the freaking layup? It's like, so we all can at least cover, They didn't do it. Down by 4. They went for the 3. The guy was 0 for 11, and I'll tell you, these guys that hit threes like that, they're due, Eventually they start hitting, and they never really did hit. And boy, I think Yale and Wofford are two of the teams that are going to look back at their NCAA tournament experience and say, man, if I hit 2 more threes, it would have been an entirely different story. And that's what it comes down to. It's like in Bull Durham, what's the difference between a 300 hitter and a 250 hitter? It's a 2 seeing eye singles, or something, or, 15 seeing eye singles, or something like that. I don't remember the exact quote, but same thing here in the NCAA tournament. Yale, who was just cold, ice cold from 3-point land, did get the cover though. And then, we saw Wofford go ice cold from 3-point land as well. It was the 13-2 run by Kentucky that was the difference in that one. But anyways, Brian, we know you were 4-1 yesterday, but
well, Iona's another school the other night that had me sweating it out in the second half because they couldn't hit a 3-pointer to save their life and they couldn't go inside at all. So getting a 22.5, it really came tight at the end, even though they were winning it, I think, at halftime.
Yeah, I think, what we saw, like, in just a lot of these games is, this is the NCAA tournament. There's just not a lot of games, and a lot of them are going to come right down to the wire regardless. And, we're seeing some in-game betting opportunities as well. So, of course, we got 8 NCAA tournament games today. We also have some of these other tournament games, which I really like a lot of these. I gave out a bunch as premium picks today, and I have one that I was going to put in as a premium pick. I forgot, so that will be a bonus for everybody here. You guys will get my pick in that game. So, what do you have on the premium side today, Brian? How many picks you got out there?
I broke my rule. I actually have 6 plays today. I try to keep it to 5, but I saw a ton of value out there, both in college and a little bit in NBA, so I got 6.
So 6 picks total. How many college, how many NBA you have going?
Got 4 college and 2 NBA today.
All right. I like the NBA card as well. I haven't put in any picks because the NBA, the lines come out late, so I don't put my picks in until late. So I haven't put any of mine out there. So I have a full complement of picks to choose from here, which is always fun. But of course, we're going to give out a bunch of free picks on this show. We have this discount code SAVE15, get 15% off all of your purchases today at Sports Chat Experts at Picks and Parlays. You can get Brian's packages, you can get my packages, you can get the 2-capper package. You can get all Brian's picks and all of my picks. That's underneath the which tab is that under on the site? It is under the. Ooh, there's a lot of traffic on the site right now. A lot of people reading up on the games. Let's see where it's under. I believe if you go under premium picks, it's the first, second, third, fourth thing down. It says 2-for-1 subscriptions. And there you can choose any 2 cappers. You can choose Brian and myself. There's a lot of really hot handicappers. Sean Higgs is on fire as well. With his
best thing to do is to jump on guys right when they're getting hot. You don't want to miss it and jump on at the end, and then you're going to have a little trouble.
We call that on the show in the comments. We talk about this a lot on our show, and we call that it's been taught to me by our fan base, by us. Our community is really, it's not a fan base, it's a community. What's taught to me by our community is that it's called the regression to the mean, is what they call it. Basically, that no one's going to win them all, and somebody that's strung together a lot of wins, the chances are that it will start to go the other way. So it's because eventually, I don't care who you are. The only people that hit 80 and 90% of their picks across the board for a long
term.
The fake guys. It's like, I think we should get some of those. I think I should get some more jewelry. It's like I wear I actually do wear jewelry. I wear my wedding ring around my neck because I'm on the computer a lot and it bangs on the thing, so I wear it around my neck. And then I have this white gold chain and this platinum ring, and that's pretty much it. Actually, I upgraded my ring. When I was so poor when I got married, I had like this tiny little thin thing, and then for my 10th anniversary, I got a new ring, a real nice one, which is pretty cool. I think, a lot of people when they get married, they don't have their different financial situation. My wife, let's face it, she lets me bet on sports all day, so she never complains about it. So I think getting a new ring or whatever, is taking that as my anniversary present. No shame there. But anyways, you guys can win free shirts. We've been through that. You can see the article at Sports Chat Place. Brian, where are you going for your first pick today?
Well, I guess I'm going to stick with the NBA. Really like the Detroit Pistons plus the 10.5. I know the Warriors are coming off a shocking loss at home to the Dallas Mavericks yesterday, but I don't think they've solved all their problems, and anything over 10 points is a lot for a Detroit team looking to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, I had the Pistons yesterday as my dog of the day, and it ended up being a push right on the number at 5. On that back-to-back in Portland playing in altitude, and now they're playing the Warriors, who, like you said, they absolutely laid an egg yesterday. I gave out the Warriors yesterday. Somebody left a comment, some jackass left a comment yesterday saying that I didn't win any games on the show yesterday. So naturally, you guys know I throw the picks at the end, so I have to go dig up this piece of paper. And of course, I'm in Vegas, and I had Arkansas plus 6.5. They covered. The Atlanta Hawks plus 8, they covered. I had the Warriors minus 14, so that's 2-1. Murray State plus 4.5, that was a loser. Kansas plus 2, that was a loser. And then over in Murray State, Florida State, I don't even know what happened in that one. I know they got stomped. I know it was a lot to a little. I don't know what the final score was, so I guess.
Yeah, I like the Warriors too. Going into the game yesterday, I thought that line was really high, and I think it's high, I'm going to jump on it because they're trying to scare people off the Mavericks. But that was one of those shocking games that they had 2 this season that they lost as like 17-point favorites or 16, somewhere in there.
Yeah, well, the Warriors, they're clearly not the same team that we've seen in recent years. That's for sure. And I think getting this many points, even with, the Pistons are on a back-to-back, both teams are on a back-to-back. The Pistons are just a tougher team than they've been in the past. And I think, Detroit, just the city, traditionally leads to these tough teams. They're just a tough out. I don't know if they can win this game in Oakland, but I think that they have a solid chance to cover. Getting 10 points.
They might have got a confidence booster yesterday, seeing what happened to Golden State. They probably figure maybe they think they got a chance in this one, and 10.5 points. I don't think they're going to win the Pistons, but I think they'll keep it close.
Yeah, I think it's close too. I'm gonna go with you on that one and take the Pistons as well. But anyways, we do a bunch of free picks on the show every single day. I have Brian Bittler on the show today, and we've had him on. This is the 3rd time we've had him on, and I plan on having him on a bunch. Baseball season right around the corner. Of course, Brian's in that Philadelphia
I love
area.
Baseball, yep.
Bryce Harper making his debut. I don't know.
I'm not a fan of big contracts. It never really works out for the team. I'd rather see young guys out there playing personally. But
now here's where we get that you should get to the picks comment. But I don't care. I'm going to say something anyway. Okay, Bryce Harper yesterday was quoted on the news here in Las Vegas. Of course, he's from the Las Vegas area, saying who he wants to be as the head coach for the UNLV basketball team. Okay, number 1, the guy doesn't play basketball, and number 2. How much money does he give to UNLV of that big fat contract he just signed? I'm not really sure, but I can tell you one thing: guys like Alex Rodriguez, other players who have signed these mega contracts. I always hear about how much money they're giving away, but I have not heard Bryce Harper's name really ever circulate as a big donor. I don't know if he is or if he isn't. I'm not really going to say. But I do say
no, he's a young guy. That might come along later in life.
Alex Rodriguez, when he signed his big contract when he was young, he built a new baseball stadium for the University of Miami. Of course, he started playing baseball, shagging balls in the outfield as a kid for the University of Miami baseball team. And once he signed that contract, he built them a new stadium. And, of course, the team went on probation and all that other stuff because of it, but it happens. And, I think Bryce Harper at $300 million, I just hope he gives some back. I can't tell anyone what to do with their money. I just hope that he does the right thing and he gives some back. And if he's so adamant about what UNLV should do with their athletic program, I think he should put his money where his mouth is as far as that goes. But anyways, I'll go to the NBA as well. I don't know. I love betting against the Lakers. I just love it. The Kings are laying 1.5 here on the road. I don't really care if they're on the road or not. I just love betting against the Lakers. I can't control myself. I see, I just bet the other side. It's like I can't.
The Lakers are pretty brutal.
They're absolutely brutal. The Kings have not been good on the back-to-back. That's the one thing. They've been absolutely horrible on back-to-back games, and that's why this line is so low. But I don't even care. I think they break their streak on the back-to-backs, and I think they get it done here. I'm going to take the Kings. I'm going to lay the points on the road.
I'll have to I'll lean with the Kings also in that one. It isn't a game I love, but if I had to bet it, I would take the Kings. I can't trust the Lakers.
Yeah, for me, it's just an automatic. It's like it has nothing to do with anything. It's just, it's kind of like the way that we bet Vermont this year. It's just you see Vermont, you bet it. And it's just, we have so much money in the bank in our Lakers account, that we can afford, to just blindly bet the game.
Kings smell the playoff. Lakers really don't have much to play for anymore, and I don't really see the effort with the Lakers.
Yeah, I see discussion about other handicappers here on our Facebook page. I try and avoid that. I know some guys claim that these high winning percentages and they're scams or whatever and all this other stuff, but we'll let their records at their sites and what other people say in other places about them. But yeah, I'm not really sure what you guys are talking about here, but I would say I'm going to delete all those comments. But anyways, let's get to, you want to do another NBA or you want to move to college? It's your call.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with the NBA now.
All right, I'll do one more NBA just for the hell of it. I like the under in the Pacers-Nuggets game. I don't think anyone's going to score 5 points in this game. I think the first one to 70 probably wins this thing. We got two defensive teams, so I'm going to go with the under in the Nuggets-Pacers game. I don't know, man. It's like this thing's at 209.
I looked at some trends in Denver and Indiana last night, and it showed a lot of trends to the under for Denver, especially on the road, I think. So that's not a bad play.
Yeah, I just think both these teams are defense first, and I don't know. I just don't think there's going to be a lot of points. I'll just take the under in the Nuggets-Pacers just for the hell of it, just because it's there. But anyways, let's go to college hoops. It really is. This is college hoops weekend. I know by this day, by the time you get to Sunday of opening weekend, it's kind of like we've been through a marathon. We have literally been through a marathon. So my wife was here in Vegas with me. And she went home last night, but she was here, and she just went shopping the whole time and went to the spa, and her girlfriend was here, and they went, and shopped and did, whatever, and they did. And Craig and I watched all the games and did what we do, and she's just like, what have you guys done? I'm like, do you realize just how much basketball we've watched? And she's like, you do this every day, though, But I'm like, but this is just a so much higher intensity level than the normal basketball watching. So she's, she knows she's been around the block in March Madness before, and I think that this March Madness, what we haven't seen are the buzzer beater. I think the closest that we saw was the LSU game, but we haven't really seen the true buzzer beater where a team's down by 2. And they hit the 3. We just haven't seen that. We haven't seen where the team's down by 1 and hits the 2, right at the buzzer. We just have not seen that in this March Madness. Is today the day? I think it could be. I really think that today could be the day because there's a few games that really set up like this. And I have 6 premium picks today? And no, I think in the NCAA tournament I don't have 6 premium picks, but I like some of these smaller tournament games today too. So I know Brian has his top play in that first game right out of the gate, so we'll skip that one. And if you want Brian's pick, I have a pick in that game as well. You can get over at sportschatexperts.com. You can use that discount code SAVE15, get 15% off. And so we'll skip to that one. Brian, what game you want to go to here? Because I have a lot of games I don't have premium picks on today. So
I'll tell you, my favorite one that I don't have a premium pick on is the Oklahoma Sooners and Virginia Cavaliers. Really like Oklahoma. I should have jumped on it at plus 11. It's sitting at plus 10 right now. People, for the most part, are betting Virginia. Line came down a point. I think the Sooners, they've been tough all year. I think Virginia seems to have something going on when they get to the tournament. They just don't perform as well. They almost got a little trouble the other night in the opening game. I think the Sooners keep it close.
Yeah, I think, what we've seen here is, there's a couple different angles of this. I don't have a premium play in this game either. And, I was looking at the Sooners myself in this one, exactly the same reasons that you said, because Virginia plays this great defense. They are fantastic defensively. They have guys that can shoot offensively as well. This is a team, obviously, they're number 1 seed for a reason. And, to me, defense always wins championships. But Oklahoma is a team they're the team this year that them and Ohio State are the 2 teams, playing today that people are like, why should they even be in the field? And it's always the team, why should they be in the field team, which is Syracuse almost every single year, right? That, those always seem to be the teams that win in the first round. It doesn't always carry over. Sometimes those teams ride it
on their shoulder.
Yeah,
people are telling them they don't belong.
Some teams ride it all the way to the Final Four. It just depends. But, Oklahoma's a team that I was kind of like, why are they in it? I was one of those people, and it's like they had a horrible conference record in the Big 12. What scares me here is the Big 12 has been so bad in this tournament, and I think part of it was the injury to Dean Wade for Kansas State. I think is a big part of why we're not seeing much more out of the Big 12. But Kansas got run out of the building last night. Iowa State lost in the first round. And Oklahoma, the team that people thought shouldn't get in, is the team that won in the first round. They looked super impressive doing so, and I think that they're going to give Virginia some trouble here too. I'm going to take the 10.5 with Oklahoma. I think Virginia might win this game, but this might be a 3-4 point game at the most, and it might be something where it's tight all the way, and then we see Virginia's lockdown defense really come in, and that's why I like the defensive teams, because in the tight games they can lock teams down, and I think that Virginia can do that. But I think Oklahoma has so many skill players and so many guys that can play that they create some matchup problems for Virginia, because Virginia doesn't really have that. Yeah, I know Guy can hit the outside shots, but they don't really have that go-to scorer guy. They don't. I
think you see Oklahoma up 4 at halftime, and then in the second half, Virginia just clamps down and takes over.
Yeah, I could see something like that, but I think 10.5 is just a ton. In this type of game, because we're talking about a defensive team in Virginia, and I think Oklahoma might be the better offensive team. So I think that their offense carries them through in the first half, exactly like you said. And I think this one comes down in the final 5 minutes in a game where Virginia's probably leading, but it's anything but a done deal at that point. I don't think it's a buzzer beater type game. I think there's other games that set up for that, but I think that. The points are good here with Oklahoma. I'm with you on that one. I don't have a pick on Buffalo, Texas Tech. This is another game that I thought was really tough. I don't know if Brian has a pick or not. We didn't talk about it ahead of time. But and you can just say I have a pick on this game. You don't have to
No, I don't have a pick on this one. And I do kind of like one of the sides in this one.
Yeah, this one to me is one of the more interesting matchups of the entire day. And this is a game that sets up for that buzzer beater shot. This is the one. And I think I'm going to take Buffalo here. I've gone back and forth on this game because Buffalo can really, really push the pace. And it's something that Texas Tech doesn't like to do. And we're going to know. Well, I mean, these are the games, college basketball in general this season has been in 2 different halves, But we're going to know pretty early if they're going to be able to push the pace on Texas Tech. This game is going to be all about pace. And I believe that Buffalo is going to try and push the pace. This is what they do, and Texas Tech is going to try and slow it down, and that's what they do. So I don't know. I think Buffalo is able to do it. I think this one has the chance to be the buzzer beater. I think Buffalo is going to be inside that 4-point number, and I'm going to take Buffalo here in the 4 points.
See, me and you disagree on this one. This is probably our one and only one we disagree on. But I like Texas Tech. I have them in my final two teams. I think they've been underestimated a little bit all season. Buffalo, I don't know if they have the talent level of Texas Tech. I don't really lay points very often in the tournament, but this is if I was going to bet the game, I would take Texas Tech minus the 4.
Yeah, if you didn't get a chance to see it, we did a roundtable show. Brian and I did it, and we were on with Tony T on Sports Pick Info. And I believe almost every handicapper on the show said the same thing that I always say, and that's in the NCAA tournament. And, I always say I start with all the dogs across the board in the first round, and then I try and talk myself out of it on every single game. And
it seems like it always comes close to the spread with these points.
Yeah, so like having the points seems to always be a good place to be. And I think, one thing that we saw a lot on the opening day, on the second day, we saw a lot of outright dog winners. But on the first day, what we saw was a lot of dogs cover the point spread and not win the game, like right out of the gate. Yale against LSU, we saw it was like one after another of teams covering the spread and not winning the game. And I think that we have that here with Buffalo. I think this is a team that can score a lot of points. I know we're on the other side of it, but man, this one could be a barn burner. And I really think that it could come down to that last shot. And, we get to see the March Madness. Maybe I'll go over to the Westgate Sportsbook and watch this one.
See, I'm thinking Tech by 10 in this game. So we'll see. I could definitely be wrong since it wasn't one of my premiums. But.
Well, you want to go to the next game? I have plenty of games I don't have picks on, so.
Sure. What's the next one?
Whatever you like to do. Any pick?
All right. The game I was looking at, the Texas Longhorns against Xavier. I think the line's 5.5 now.
Down from 7.
Really like Shaka Smart in that game and his team to really come up and play hard. Sometimes you see the big schools like Texas not play as well in the NIT, but I think this is a different situation. Texas was just barely above 500, so winning the NIT would be a big achievement for them. People are laying early on Xavier. I like Texas minus a value number at 5.5.
Yeah, I have a premium pick on this game, and you guys know I've rolled with Shaka Smart in March for many, many years. I've also won pretty well on Xavier over the last month. Both of these conferences having horrific tournaments, in the NCAA tournament, and not such great marches. So I'm just going to sit this one out because I got a premium pick on the game, but Brian has Texas here, and he's going to lay 5.5 on a reduced line, which it seems 71% of the public is here on Xavier, and the money and the line moving in that same direction. I'll go to the.
And the game is in Texas too. So.
Of course, yeah. The NIT games are home games all the way until the Final Four, which is played in Madison Square Garden.
And they seem like a different team at home than when they're on the road.
No, absolutely. And Xavier just 4-7 against the number on the road, and 4-7 straight up this season. While Texas 13-6 straight up, but 8-11 against the number at home this season. So should be a good one. And also, as we know, styles make fights and styles make games. So, anyways, just a quick reminder to everyone: I'm giving away free T-shirts. Be sure to hit the like button, no matter where you're watching this. The more likes we get, the more shirts we give out. And be sure to check our Facebook group and Facebook page at Sports Chat Place. And that's where I announce the winners each and every day. You can go back over the entire week. I have announced a lot of winners. I've heard from hundreds of people, but there's still definitely people that have won that I have not heard from. I'm not going to chase you down. What we're going to do is after a week, we'll reset and we'll give away those shirts again to other people that want them. But be sure to hit the like button. That's what's based on the number of shirts that we give out. I'll go back to the NCAA tournament again. Like I said, I have some premium picks in these games, but Not in all of them, that's for sure. I really have a lot of the late games. When it comes to these early games, I don't have a pick in the Duke UCF game. And I think if I would have gone, this is one where I probably would have taken the favorite. I would have taken Duke. I think that Taco Fall is a good player. He's better than just being a tall guy, but he's not as good as Duke. And neither are the rest of his teammates. And I think that we've yet to really see Duke explode this season. We rarely have seen them put it all together. And to me, this just looks like a logical spot because UCF, when they run cold, they run really cold. We saw them against Memphis in that AAC tournament where they got blown out of the building. And I think, once you've been blown out of it's kind of like a boxer that's been knocked out. Once you've been knocked out once, you can get knocked out again. I think Duke is the type of team that, one thing that we haven't seen a lot from them this season is the runs, those Duke runs, and I don't mean those kinds of runs. I mean basketball scoring runs. And I'll tell you, I'm going to take Duke. I'm going to lay the 13 points in this thing.
Well, I have 4 premium games in college basketball, and I love all 4 of them. And Duke and UCF, I have the side, and I have a rare total. I think it might be maybe my first total I put out all year, but I got the total and the side in the Duke Central Florida.
Well, there you have it. So that's one of Brian's picks. Of course, Brian was 4-1 yesterday in his NCAA basketball picks. So be sure to check out his packages over at sportschatexperts.com as well as picksandparlays.net. You can use this discount code right here, SAVE15. Get 15% off.
27 and 13, 68%. If you combine conference tournaments and March Madness for me, so far postseason college has been pretty good.
And I think if you look at the leaderboards for the entire season of college basketball at both Sports Chat Experts and at Picks and Parlays under the leaderboards tab, if you look under NCAA basketball, Brian and I are both up there. So pretty. It's not just we're not one. These are
you got to do it for the season, and you got to do it in the tournament.
I think what helps. I think doing what we do all season long. I think it helps. Sometimes it works against us, but I think for the most part it helps because we are familiar with a lot of these teams. A lot of these sites, a lot of these cappers out there, they just pop out of nowhere. Oh, I'm the best in March Madness. I get it all the time. People that want to write for the site at Sports Chat Place want to just do our regular articles like Randy and Andrew and Mark and Brett and Chris and all the guys, Peter and the other guys do, and they show up like the opening week of March Madness. It's like, what about my guys that have been covering it all season long for the last 10 years? It's like, I think I'll stick with those guys, It's like, but I'm really good at March Madness. It's like, then where were you when Marist was playing against Fairfield, Because my guys were watching the game. I know that for sure. Because they wrote it up
goes
in
the same way. The beginning of the season takes a little while to feel out.
Exactly.
Baseball team.
We'll see that this Thursday. And Brian, I'd love to have you on Thursday for opening day for baseball. I think that would be a good day to have you back too, because we'll have NCAA tournament, Sweet 16 action, as well as NBA basketball and of course baseball opening day. I just think baseball opening day and really the first week or so, you have to tread lightly. It's like you just have to tread lightly because you just don't know. And of course, baseball for me, I say the same thing every year. The very, very best teams lose 75 times a year. And you're talking about minus 200. The Yankees are going to be minus 200, I think, a lot this season. And if they go 95 and 67, and you bet them every single game, you're going to lose money. Because they're going to be minus 200 plus, every
That's all right. Me and you went at it with the Boston Red Sox last year. I told you that first show.
Right, but I hate the Red Sox. I just hate them. So I'm always going to bet against them. I can't help myself.
Early on, it's good to look for the veteran pitcher that's laying way too much juice. Sometimes the veteran guys don't have the arm. You're going to get value with the other team.
Absolutely.
Plus money.
Yeah, we'll be all over it Thursday. I think everybody's playing. The season starts a little earlier this year. I don't know. Soon they'll be starting the games in February. But anyways, I'll go about another pick here. I was going to give this one out as a premium pick. I love Harvard plus the 10 points against NC State in the NIT. I think, Harvard is one of those teams that has not gotten a lot of respect. I took them against Georgetown in their opening game. Super unpopular pick. I gave it out as a premium pick, but I know in the Facebook group, it seemed that 70 to 80% of the people that talked about the game or more were on Georgetown. I like Harvard again here against NC State. I know the ACC gets all the ink, they get everything, but NC State is one of these the reason why they're not in the NCAA tournament is not just because of their their rankings and all that stuff of the teams that they played out of conference. It has to do, to me, with their sloppy play and blown opportunities in the games that they were actually in. I mean, this team they're so talented and so sloppy, and you're playing against a heady, smart team like Harvard. They're going to take advantage of those mistakes, and they're not going to make the mistakes. So by not making the mistakes, by doing the little things right, giving them double digits is suicide. I'm going to take Harvard plus the 10 in that one.
It was a very rare day where we're head-to-head on two games, and it's just a strong lean for me. But I'm seeing about 74% of tickets, 87% of the money back in Harvard. Line went from 10.5 to 10. NC State has tons of athletes, and they didn't perform well during the season. That's why they're in the NIT. And Harvard, I love Ivy League teams, but I think in this game, NC State runs away with it, covers the number. But we'll see how it goes.
All right, we got time for one more pick. Brian, you want to give out any pick? NBA, hockey, basketball, total, whatever, anything. Got time for one more.
Let's see here. What's on the list that I don't have here?
Of course, you can get all of Brian's picks today over at sportschatexperts.com and picksandparlays.net. Use that discount code SAVE15, get 15% off. If you go under the subscriptions tab, you can get both Brian and my picks on 2-for-1 special, as well as using that SAVE15 code to get 15% off on top of the savings there. So,
do you have Washington, North Carolina?
I have a pick on it, but it doesn't matter. Just give out any pick. Doesn't matter. I'll do it. I have a pick on the side, but I'll give out a pick on the total. All
right, this is just a lean for me, but I think Washington getting a ton of points here. You're getting value. North Carolina seems like they sleepwalk in the first half and then come alive in the second half. I don't think North Carolina come out with their complete attention paid to the Huskies. I think Washington has a small lead at halftime, like I've said before in other games, and then North Carolina pulls it at the end, but Washington covers that big number.
I personally, I think everybody knows this about me. I hate teams that don't play defense. In North Carolina, it seems that, to me, you see this in college basketball all the time when the players are banged up or something. It's like all of a sudden they're 100% healthy when they're playing offense, and then they're limping around when they're playing defense. I think North Carolina limps around when they play defense, and I think that's why this game goes over the total for me, because I think Washington's going to be able to score on Carolina. I think Carolina's going to be able to score against that tough Washington defense. The total in this one's 150 points, so that's 75 apiece, and that is a monster number. I see it come down to 149 over at Caesars. I see it as high as 150 and a half in some places as well at William Hill. I'm going to call it 150, and I'm going to say over 150 for the UNC Washington game. I just think that UNC is going to need to put up a lot of points because their defense is a sieve. And
when you see a super high total like that in that North Carolina game, just like we saw Oregon the other night in a really low total, I think it was 116, and that went under the number. When I see super low or super high, I like to.
Yeah, I gave out Arkansas on the show yesterday, and I actually bet that game personally. It's like I always bet my premium picks, but sometimes I bet the free picks. People ask me this question all the time, and I bet Arkansas yesterday. I really liked the pick. I was going to give it as a premium pick, but I already had early plays, and boy, I should have put that one in instead of maybe Florida against Michigan or something.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing about Arkansas. I missed the boat on that one.
Yeah, I loved Arkansas in that game, but one thing about Arkansas, and I was saying this to Craig, who really is an X's and O guy when it comes to basketball, and I wish he would talk about it more, and maybe next season we'll get him to talk more game strategy and explain how he gets some of his picks, which is pretty cool to hear. How he picked Baylor over Syracuse in the first round. If you listen to that handicapper show on Sports Pick Info.
Him and Dana Lane can really discuss the X's and O's.
And it was really, really good to hear. But so I can say things like, I don't really understand the X's and O's as much as Craig does. Even though I watch a ton of games, I don't understand the whole strategy. And Craig coaches fifth grade girls basketball, and he has like a pro coach's whiteboard that he whiteboards up plays on. And this is how he was an assistant to Bob Huggins at Cincinnati. Craig was, so that's how he played college basketball as well. But anyways, I thought that Arkansas's defense was really interesting against Indiana. When the guy was shooting a three for Indiana, Arkansas's defense was to walk in that guy's general direction. I mean, that was the only defense they had for it. It's like, this is why you're in the NIT and playing a road game. It's because your defense is to casually walk towards whoever's shooting the ball. And I think that's why they ended up losing that game. But they did get the cover, and it was exciting to watch it. It was one of those covers where you had the dog and you never really had to sweat it out, which is always nice. But anyways, back to what we do. Be sure to hit that like button on YouTube. I noticed we have 170 people watching, only 70 thumbs up. I'd appreciate it if you guys hit the thumbs up. It takes you about a half a second, but costs you absolutely nothing. If you're watching it on your phone, the way that you get to the thumbs up is you hide the comments, and then you hit the thumbs up, and then you can come back to the comments. But anyways, I'm going to recap all the picks just like I always do. So in the first game, Brian took the Pistons plus the points against the Warriors. I agree with him. The second game, I took the Kings minus 1.5 on a back-to-back, which it's never really been such a good bet, but it's more like it was 100% a play against the Lakers. Brian agreed with me. Then in the next game, Brian took Oklahoma plus the points against Virginia. I agreed with him on that one. We're getting 10.5. And if you want to bet that one, you might want to get it now because the line's moving in that direction. So the points are going down. I took the under in the Nuggets-Pacers game. Brian agreed with me there. And then Brian took Texas Tech minus the 4 points. I like Buffalo plus the 4 in that one. I think that game sets up to be the buzzer-beater March Madness, last shot, bang in type game. And I think it could go either way in that one. I think Buffalo's going to try and push the pace. Texas Tech going to try and slow things down. And we're going to know a lot about both these teams. And I think this one's just styles make fights. And this one, super interesting. I took Duke minus 13. Brian has a premium play in that game, so he did not give a pick. And then he took Texas minus 5.5, and I have a premium pick in that game, in the Texas Xavier game, so I didn't give out a pick. And then we both disagreed on the NC State Harvard game. Brian likes NC State minus the 10. I think they're way too sloppy. I took Harvard plus the 10. And then Brian likes Washington and the Huskies plus 12 against North Carolina. I have a premium pick in that game, so I gave out the total. I like the over in that one because I hate North Carolina's defense. Anyways, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the final Sunday of March Madness. Be sure to grab those premium picks. Use the code. Brian, thanks again for joining us. Thursday, we'll have Brian back on Thursday for opening day for baseball. And be sure to hit that thumbs up button. We're giving away T-shirts. Be sure to check on the Sports Chat Place Facebook group and Facebook page. I announce the winners each and every day. You can go back and scroll back and see all the winners for the week, see if your name is on there, and then follow the instructions. Grab one of these 100% cotton made in the USA T-shirts. Pretty cool. Brian has some on the way to him and his son as well. I posted a picture of all the mailing labels, in the living room here in Vegas.
So you have a person mailing them for you, or you do that
Yeah,
yourself?
it's called Me and Craig. And
Wow.
my wife packaged them all up. And, of course, I wrote a little note to every single person that's getting a T-shirt as well. So have a great day, everyone.